So I've got the work now securely clamped to the bench. The bench is a bit shorter, so I'm going to have to move this along and do it in two halves. For the bow in the wood, this bit in the middle, I need to take that out with a wedge like this here, so that I don't have any spring in the wood. So, nicely clamped, my tools, my mallet, my carving brush, my various pens and square, and I'm ready to go. With a font that you haven't used before, or in this case is much larger, it's a good idea to do a little sample where you use a similar piece of wood if you can, mock up the letter and carve it so you can see exactly how this would work. In this instance, it's a very short, abrupt serif, and we can see how that might finish off. And it finishes off here, for example, in this font, at the same depth as the root of the letter. This one is a double serif, and you can see that you make this sort of interesting geometrical shape here at the top, and the serif doesn't go lower than the root. So this is all very useful little exercise to do first of all. The red line here and here is the remains of the centre line that I drew down the middle of each upright. As soon as I remove wood, I can't see what I'm doing, so this line helps orientate that root parallel and vertical in the middle of that upright. So I keep that as I go along. I'm going to start with the uprights as I usually do, and the rule is that we do the main section and we'll finish off these junctions and serifs later on. So we're only dealing with this bit in the middle. So on this sort of scale, I'm going to start with the biggest V tool I can and take a groove down the middle. Like this. This is just taking some of the wood away. This allows me to now come in from the side and start chopping away at about 45 degrees. As I'm working, I'm trying to visualize this line down the middle orientating to my center line that I've drawn. So here I am more or less down to my depth. Now, pairing this surface is actually quite difficult because you're trying to match a flat with a flat. So as the letters get bigger, you can in fact start cutting them with a flat gouge like this. Pretty much as if this was a relief carving surface and you were just skimming it off. On this side. And then we can swap back to the flat gouge to finish off the root in the middle. I want to make sure that there's no sort of joining marks here, but with a flattest gouge, any slight facets you won't see at the distance this sign is going to be seen. So just clean up, make sure those surfaces are nicely cleaned up. And there you go, that's the That's one of the uprights. So you'll do that to all the uprights and the diagonals, missing the corners at the end all the way along. This is certainly hard wood, and a mallet is very necessary. We've completed all the uprights, including the diagonals, and in the next lesson we're going to turn to the serifs.